Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something real tonight. Something we don't always put on the table, but it's on everyone's mind. Intimacy. The kind that connects us, binds us, and sometimes frustrates us. We're diving into the things men consider bad sex, not to point fingers, but to understand, to grow, and to do better. Because when we know better, we do better. Men aren't mind readers, and neither are women. If you're not speaking your truth, what you like, what you want, what you need, then what are we doing here? Silent expectations are the breeding ground for disappointment. Open your mouth, use your words, and watch the magic unfold. Men can sense it when you're just going through the motions. It's like trying to light a fire with wet wood. It ain't happening. Passion doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be real. Bring your energy, your enthusiasm, your presence. That's what sets the room on fire. It's not just about the act, it's about the build-up. Foreplay isn't a suggestion, it's a requirement. It's like a symphony, every note matters. Rush the song, and you miss the music. Slow it down, feel it, live it. That's where connection happens. Pretending to enjoy yourself when you're not? Men feel that. And it's not just a turn-off, it's a trust breaker. Be real. If something's not working, say it. If something is, show it. Authenticity builds intimacy, and intimacy builds everything else. Not all men are the same. What worked in one relationship may not work in another. Every person is a new chapter, a new story, a new adventure. Learn the person in front of you. Their rhythm, their language, their style. That's how you create something unforgettable. We live in a world of curated images and scripted fantasies, but real life isn't a movie. Men aren't looking for a perfect performance, they're looking for a real connection. Mistakes? Fine. Awkward moments? Even better. It's the imperfections that make it personal, that make it special. Intimacy is not a one-way street. It's about giving as much as you take. When both people feel seen, heard, and valued, that's when intimacy transcends into something extraordinary. But if it's all take and no give, that's a deal breaker every time. When it comes to intimacy, the foundation of any meaningful connection is the ability to communicate openly and honestly. Without clear communication, even the strongest attraction or deepest love can falter under the weight of misunderstandings and unmet expectations. Many assume their partner can intuitively understand their needs, but intimacy is not about guessing games. It's about clarity, vulnerability, and a willingness to share what matters most. To start, communication is not just about words, it's about creating a safe space where both partners feel comfortable expressing themselves. This means being open to hearing each other without judgment or defensiveness. If a man feels that his needs or desires will be dismissed, criticized, or misunderstood, he may shut down. Over time, this silence can lead to frustration, resentment, and even detachment. On the flip side, when a woman feels unheard or invalidated, it can create a barrier to trust and emotional connection. True intimacy thrives when both partners know their voices matter. Expressing needs doesn't always have to be serious or clinical. It can be playful, spontaneous, or even whispered in the heat of the moment. The key is to make communication a natural part of the relationship, not a once-in-a-blue-moon conversation after something goes wrong. Talk about what you enjoy, what excites you, and what feels good. These discussions can be empowering and create a deeper bond, allowing both partners to explore and understand each other's desires on a deeper level. Beyond talking, listening is an equally important part of communication. Often we're so focused on what we want to say that we miss the chance to truly hear our partner. Listening means being present, not planning your response or dismissing their feelings, but giving them your full attention. This simple act shows respect and builds trust, paving the way for a stronger connection. It's also important to remember that communication extends beyond verbal exchanges. Body language, facial expressions, and touch are all powerful forms of expressing what words might not fully capture. A sigh, a smile, or even a moment of eye contact can speak volumes. Pay attention to these cues and respond with empathy and care. Effective communication is not just about solving problems or avoiding conflict, it's about building a partnership where both people feel valued and understood. When done right, it becomes a bridge that connects two individuals on a deeper, more meaningful level. Intimacy is more than a physical act, it's an expression of connection, emotion, and energy. When passion takes center stage, it transforms the experience into something memorable and profound. However, when intimacy becomes mechanical, reduced to a series of steps or routines, it loses its spark. It's not just about the what or how of physical closeness, it's about the why. Passion breathes life into intimacy, making it something that engages the body, mind, and soul. Men, like women, can sense when their partner is merely going through the motions. It's the difference between a spark that ignites and a matchstick that fizzles out. Mechanical intimacy feels hollow, like ticking off a checklist. There's no excitement, no connection, no sense of being in the moment. Passion, on the other hand, is about presence. It's about fully engaging with your partner, letting go of distractions, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, authentic, and invested. Passion doesn't require grand gestures or movie-style romance. It requires authenticity. It's about showing up as your true self with all your imperfections and desires and letting that be enough. Passion thrives when both partners are emotionally present and invested in each other's pleasure. It's in the lingering touch, the playful laughter, the locked eyes that say more than words ever could. These small, genuine moments are what make intimacy meaningful. Enthusiasm plays a big role in keeping passion alive. When you show genuine interest and excitement in being with your partner, it creates a ripple effect. Enthusiasm is contagious. It reassures your partner that you're not just physically present, but emotionally and mentally invested in the experience. This kind of engagement deepens the bond between two people, turning routine encounters into unforgettable moments. Passion also thrives in spontaneity. Routine can be comforting, but too much predictability can dull intimacy. Breaking away from the expected, trying new things, or even rediscovering old favorites with a fresh perspective can reignite the flame. Passion is about exploration, not just of the other person, but of the connection you share. It's about stepping into the unknown together, willing to create something unique every time. Ultimately, passion is about energy. It's not about perfection or performance, but about the raw, unfiltered exchange of emotion and desire. When passion leads the way, intimacy becomes less about technique and more about creating an experience that feels alive, electric, and real. Intimacy is not just about the act itself, it's about the rhythm, the flow, and the connection between two people. Timing plays a critical role in cultivating that connection, as it allows the experience to build naturally, creating a deeper sense of closeness and anticipation. Rushing through intimacy can feel transactional, while taking the time to connect on multiple levels turns it into something meaningful and memorable. One of the most overlooked aspects of timing is the importance of foreplay, not just physical foreplay, but emotional and mental engagement. Intimacy doesn't begin in the bedroom, it starts with a conversation, a touch, a shared laugh, or a lingering look. These moments build trust and anticipation, setting the stage for deeper connection. When partners take the time to truly see and acknowledge each other, they create a foundation where intimacy can flourish. Connection is about more than physicality, it's about tuning in to each other's emotional and physical cues. This requires patience and presence. Timing comes into play when you slow down and pay attention to the other person's responses. Every sigh, every shift, every expression tells a story about what they're feeling. Being attuned to these subtle signals allows you to adjust, to meet them where they are, and to create a shared rhythm that enhances the experience for both of you. Rushing can be one of the biggest obstacles to connection. When things feel hurried, it can leave one or both partners feeling unfulfilled or disconnected. Timing isn't about dragging things out unnecessarily, but about letting the experience unfold at a pace that feels natural and satisfying for both people. This requires communication, both verbal and nonverbal, to ensure you're in sync with each other's needs and desires. On the flip side, timing also involves knowing when to act. There's an art to recognizing the moment when anticipation is built to its peak and both partners are fully present and engaged. This balance between anticipation and action is where intimacy becomes truly electric. When the connection is strong and the timing feels just right, it creates a sense of flow where both people are fully immersed in the moment. Ultimately, timing and connection are about being present, patient, and responsive. It's not about sticking to a script or following a formula, but about creating a shared experience that feels organic, authentic, and deeply satisfying. By honoring the rhythm of your connection, you transform intimacy into something that resonates far beyond the physical. Authenticity is the heart of meaningful intimacy, It's about showing up as your true self, honest, vulnerable, and unapologetically real. In the realm of intimacy, there's no room for pretense. Pretending to enjoy something when you don't, hiding what you truly feel, or putting on a performance for the sake of appearances only builds walls between partners. Authenticity, on the other hand, tears those walls down, fostering trust, connection, and mutual understanding. When you're authentic, you invite your partner to do the same. This openness creates a safe space where both people can express their desires, boundaries, and feelings without fear of judgment or rejection. Men, like women, value this kind of honesty. They can sense when their partner is holding back or pretending, and that disconnect can feel like a betrayal, even if it's unintentional. Authenticity reassures your partner that what you're sharing is genuine, building a foundation of trust that strengthens your connection. Being authentic doesn't mean being perfect, it means being real. Intimacy is not about achieving a flawless performance, it's about creating a shared experience that feels personal and meaningful. If something feels awkward or doesn't go as planned, authenticity allows you to laugh about it, adjust, and move forward together. These imperfect moments are often the most memorable and meaningful because they reveal the humanity in both partners. Expressing what you truly enjoy, what excites you, and what makes you feel good is an essential part of authenticity. When you're honest about what works and what doesn't, it gives your partner the opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow with you. This kind of communication deepens the connection and makes the experience more fulfilling for both people. On the flip side, when something isn't working, pretending it's fine only creates frustration and distance over time. Authenticity also involves being present in the moment. It's about letting go of distractions, insecurities, and societal expectations to focus fully on your partner and the connection you share. When you're fully present, you're not performing for an audience or adhering to a script, you're engaging in a raw, unfiltered exchange of energy and emotion. This kind of presence is what transforms intimacy from a physical act into a profound experience. Ultimately, authenticity is about embracing who you are and trusting that it's enough. It's about creating a space where both you and your partner feel free to be yourselves, fostering a connection that's not just physical but deeply emotional and real. Intimacy is deeply personal, and at its core lies the acknowledgement and respect of individuality. No two people are the same, and no two relationships follow the same blueprint. Every person brings their own set of experiences, preferences, desires, and boundaries to a relationship, making it essential to approach intimacy with an open mind and a willingness to learn. Respecting individuality means understanding that what worked in the past with someone else may not work with your current partner, and that's perfectly okay. A major part of respecting individuality is taking the time to understand your partner on a deeper level. This goes beyond the surface and delves into what makes them unique, their likes, dislikes, fears, and dreams. Intimacy is not a one-size-fits-all experience. It requires adapting to the specific needs and desires of the person you're with. This kind of understanding doesn't happen overnight. It takes patience, curiosity, and a genuine desire to connect. When you approach your partner with an open heart and mind, you create a space where they feel seen, valued, and accepted. Respecting individuality also means letting go of comparisons. Comparing your partner to past relationships or societal standards can create unnecessary pressure and tension. Each person deserves to be appreciated for who they are, not measured against someone else. When you let go of comparisons, you free yourself to experience your partner authentically and fully. This builds a stronger connection and fosters a sense of mutual respect. Another key aspect is honoring boundaries. Every individual has their own comfort zones and limits when it comes to intimacy. Respecting these boundaries shows your partner that their feelings and autonomy matter to you. Pushing someone to conform to your expectations or dismissing their preferences can lead to resentment and distance. On the other hand, respecting their boundaries creates trust, which is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship. Celebrating individuality also involves embracing your own uniqueness. When you show up as your true self, you encourage your partner to do the same. This mutual acceptance creates a relationship dynamic that thrives on authenticity rather than pretense. Together, you can build an intimate connection that is as unique as the two of you. Ultimately, respecting individuality is about understanding that intimacy is a journey of discovery. It's about exploring the nuances of your partner and the connection you share without trying to mold them into an ideal or fit them into a predetermined role. When individuality is respected, intimacy becomes a shared adventure, one that is deeply personal, deeply fulfilling, and uniquely yours. Intimacy is often weighed down by the unrealistic expectation of perfection. Society, media, and even personal insecurities can create an image of what intimacy should look like: flawless, effortless, and always ideal. But real-life connection doesn't come with a script, and holding on to the idea of perfection can do more harm than good. Letting go of this ideal is liberating. It opens the door to a deeper, more authentic experience where true connection can thrive. One of the first things to understand is that perfection is an illusion. People are imperfect, and so are relationships. Trying to meet an impossible standard often leads to stress and self-consciousness, pulling you out of the moment. You become so focused on doing things right that you forget to enjoy the experience. Letting go of perfection means embracing the idea that intimacy doesn't have to look or feel a certain way to be meaningful. It's not about flawless execution, it's about the connection and energy shared between two people. Insecurity often fuels the pursuit of perfection. Whether it's concerns about appearance, performance, or emotional vulnerability, these fears can create barriers to genuine intimacy. But here's the truth: vulnerability is not a flaw, it's a strength. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, to show your imperfections and embrace your partners, you create a space for trust and authenticity. This openness fosters a deeper connection that perfection could never achieve. Awkward moments are inevitable, but they're also part of what makes intimacy real. A misplaced hand, a fit of laughter, or a clumsy attempt at something new might seem like mistakes, but they're actually opportunities to bond. These imperfections remind you that intimacy is a human experience, not a performance. When you can laugh together or navigate these moments with kindness and patience, you strengthen your relationship in ways that scripted perfection never could. Letting go of perfection also means embracing spontaneity. Overplanning or trying to control every aspect of intimacy can make it feel rigid and predictable. Instead, allow the moment to unfold naturally. Be present, be flexible, and be open to whatever happens. This kind of organic connection is far more fulfilling than any preconceived notion of what intimacy should be. At its core, letting go of perfection is about shifting your focus from achieving an ideal to fostering a genuine connection. It's about understanding that intimacy is not about looking or acting a certain way, but about being fully present and engaged with your partner. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you create space for something far more valuable: intimacy that is honest, heartfelt, and real. Reciprocity is the cornerstone of any healthy, meaningful relationship, particularly when it comes to intimacy. It's the mutual exchange of effort, care, and understanding that creates balance between two people. In a truly reciprocal dynamic, both partners give and receive, creating a harmonious flow that fosters deep emotional connection. When reciprocity is present, intimacy doesn't feel like a one-sided transaction. It becomes a shared experience that nourishes both individuals. At its core, reciprocity is about balance. It's not just about physical acts of intimacy, but emotional and psychological exchanges as well. When both partners are equally invested, when both show up with the intent to meet each other's needs, the relationship deepens. This can be as simple as asking your partner how their day went, being sensitive to their emotional state, or making sure they feel valued in ways that go beyond physical affection. Reciprocity means that both individuals are equally concerned with the happiness, comfort, and well-being of the other person, and it's this mutual care that fuels true intimacy. One of the biggest challenges in many relationships is the imbalance of giving and receiving. If one partner consistently gives without receiving in return, it can lead to feelings of frustration and resentment. On the flip side, if one person is only focused on what they can get, the relationship feels transactional rather than loving. True intimacy thrives when both partners are willing to show up for each other, emotionally and physically. Whether it's through a small gesture of kindness, a word of encouragement, or simply being there for each other when things get tough, the act of giving and receiving creates a bond that strengthens the relationship. Reciprocity also extends to respect for each other's boundaries and needs. It's about understanding that what works for one person may not work for the other, and that's perfectly fine. It's the willingness to listen, learn, and adapt to each other's comfort zones and desires. Being attuned to your partner's needs, both spoken and unspoken, And responding with empathy and care is a key part of creating a reciprocal relationship. This creates an environment where both partners feel safe, respected, and valued, which is essential for fostering true intimacy. The beauty of reciprocity is that it reinforces trust. When both partners are invested in each other's happiness and emotional security, trust deepens, and so does the connection. The act of giving without expecting immediate return, knowing that the favor will be reciprocated in some way, creates a sense of emotional security that strengthens the bond. It's a constant, reinforcing cycle of care, understanding, and mutual respect. This is the foundation of intimacy that is lasting, fulfilling, and deeply personal. In any relationship, especially one built on intimacy, learning and adapting are essential elements for long-term success. Relationships by nature are dynamic, and the people within them are constantly evolving. What works today might not work tomorrow. And as partners grow, so must their understanding of each other's needs, desires, and boundaries. The willingness to learn and adapt ensures that intimacy remains vibrant and fulfilling, deepening the connection between two individuals. Learning in a relationship starts with being present and paying attention. It's about observing not just what your partner says, but how they feel, how they respond, and what their actions reveal. Every interaction is an opportunity to understand your partner on a deeper level. Over time, you learn the nuances of their body language, their emotional triggers, and the things that make them feel safe and loved. This knowledge helps you connect with them in a way that goes beyond surface-level interactions. It enables you to meet their needs more effectively and in a way that feels natural for both of you. Adaptation is equally important because people change. This change can come in many forms, whether it's shifts in sexual preferences, evolving emotional needs, or changes in life circumstances. What was once a comfortable routine may no longer feel as fulfilling, and this is where the ability to adapt becomes crucial. The more you learn about your partner, the more you understand that flexibility is key. It's about being willing to explore new things together, try different approaches, and be open to change. When partners are open to adaptation, they show a commitment to growing together rather than apart. Learning and adapting also means understanding that no one is static. Your partner will go through different phases in their life, and so will you. There may be periods of emotional vulnerability, shifts in physical needs, or times of stress that impact how intimacy is experienced. When you adapt, you don't just adjust to their needs in the moment, you also become more attuned to their growth as a person. This creates a deeper, more resilient bond. You're not just reacting to challenges as they arise, you're proactively creating space for change, which allows intimacy to flourish through life's transitions. It's important to recognize that learning and adapting aren't always smooth or linear processes. There may be moments of confusion, discomfort, or frustration as you both navigate the changes that come with time. But these challenges are also opportunities for growth. It's during these times that patience, understanding, and open communication become the most powerful tools. When both partners are committed to learning and adapting, they create an environment where both people can thrive emotionally, physically, and spiritually. By committing to this process, you foster a relationship that is not just about immediate gratification, but about long-term satisfaction and growth. The intimacy that develops through learning and adapting is profound, as it's based on an ever-evolving understanding of each other and a shared commitment to evolving together. In the journey of intimacy, the most profound connections are built on understanding, respect, and a willingness to grow together. True intimacy goes beyond the surface. It thrives on communication, passion, timing, and authenticity. It's about creating a balance of giving and receiving, embracing the uniqueness of each individual, and letting go of the unrealistic pursuit of perfection. As you learn and adapt to each other's needs, desires, and boundaries, you strengthen the bond that makes your connection truly special. Remember, intimacy isn't a one-time achievement, but an ongoing process. It requires effort, patience, and a genuine desire to be present with your partner. When you foster a space where vulnerability, reciprocity, and understanding are prioritized, intimacy becomes not just a physical act, but a profound emotional and spiritual connection. It's this deep-rooted connection that makes the relationship not only last, but flourish. So embrace the journey, celebrate the growth, and always stay committed to each other's happiness and well-being. Through this shared commitment, intimacy becomes an evolving and enriching experience that will continue to deepen over time.